Can you just tell us whether you think there's a strong link between learning space design and learning outcomes?
I'm certain there is. If students have to learn in a number of ways, learning spaces have to be flexible enough to allow that learning to occur in any number of ways. And if teachers need to teach in a variety of ways, again, the learning spaces have to be flexible enough to allow that.
Learning environments also create high engagement for students, and when students are engaged in active participation, doing authentic tasks, then their outcomes are improved considerably.
Well, it has to be driven by learning, and in most systems, if you just leave it to schools or teachers or leaders, there's not enough knowledge to actually design a school for the next 50 years. But if you take the best research throughout the world, there are people that know how to do this work. You need to get the right architects, you need to get the right educationalists who to know what 21st century teaching and learning would be promoted, enabled and driven by the appropriate learning environment.
And then I guess following on from that, what's really important is that teachers are professionally developed so they know how to fully utilise the spaces.
That's very good. In secondary schools, if we have square boxes at the end of corridors, we've got to virtually destroy that concept. So no longer can we afford to have as the main way of delivering curriculum in the school, one teacher, 25 kids, 4 times a week, one subject in an enclosed room. That's not the main way of having modern teaching and learning. So that's got to go. Got more flexible spaces, big spaces, connected spaces, lots of visual connections, glass walls, open spaces.
And I guess what needs to happen with that is that the ICT matches the spaces so that we know ICT highly engages students, we know that they demand it, the spaces need to accommodate it, so I guess we're saying that dispersed technology is critical.
And just one more thing I'd add there, we're not saying more expensive schools, but if you take corridors away in schools, you actually increase teaching and learning space by 19%, which takes a very crowded, narrow, inflexible room into a pretty gorgeous space for kids and teachers. Well, I can, both the SPN 21, which is defining our curriculum and the sorts of students you want to develop, and e-Hijrah, consistent with exactly what we're talking about. If you want to nurture that sort of curriculum taught in new ways using ICT, you must have innovative spaces. And without that, won't work. Won't work to the level that you want it to work.
And we both are highly impressed with the comprehensiveness of both plans.